might family conflicts differ from coworker conflicts? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principles self-government. And in this video, we're talking about conflicts. Conflict at home feels different than conflict at work. Why? We're going to talk about the differences between home conflict and work conflict and what you can do for either one of those conflicts to solve your problems. Family conflicts are notoriously more emotional than work conflicts. Now, both conflicts revolve around relationships. And whenever you're in any relationship, you can take them personally and you can get emotional. But in a family conflict, when it gets to high emotion, you don't give up. In a coworker conflict, when it gets to high emotion, people will be like, well, whatever, you're going down the road. And they'll give up. People get fired, people just choose not to talk to each other, the work around the office becomes less productive because the communication shifts. The thing is at home we got the same situation. If you have conflict at home, the work around the home, the connection and the way that you function as home is going to be less productive too. But the thing is that people know that those coworker conflicts are more temporary, but the family conflicts can be permanent. So people are sometimes willing to put a little bit more effort into those family conflicts in trying to solve them because they don't want to not have family bonds for their whole life. In fact, it's impossible to get rid of your family. You can say, oh, they're not mine anymore. I've written them off or whatever. I never talked to them. I haven't talked to them for years. They're still your family. You still know there's actually technically still a relationship there that you can't get rid of because that bond, that familial bond runs so deep in that blood bond. And so because of that, people take things very, very personally. I would have to say that we probably get more emotional and more defensive in a family conflict. In a coworker conflict, we'll just kind of put up with quite a bit, unless the person is an absolute jerk. Then we come a point where we're like, I'm not even talking to you or listening to you and I don't care, right? But usually we'll put up with it because it's like we only have to be with them for a certain amount of the day and then we're gone and they may get a new job somewhere or we may get a new job somewhere, so it's fine. But in the families are forever. The family relationships last. And the thing is our whole sense of worth, our identity comes from that attachment and bonding in the family. It gives us strength. If there's something not right with the family, when we come to work, it comes with us. Where it's a little easier to leave the work problem at work when we go home, but the family problem, it plagues us because our family is that important. We sacrifice more for our families and those bonds and relationships than anything else. But here's the thing, a relationship problem is a relationship problem. The biggest difference between a family conflict and a coworker conflict is that in a family conflict, the stakes are a little bit higher because the relationships are more permanent. In a coworker conflict, we'll oftentimes put up with a lot more because we're not as invested and the relationships are seen as not as permanent. The thing is, besides that, they're just a conflict. And good communication principles can solve both of those conflicts. I actually wrote a book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. This is a story of a family who's having some roles problems, meaning their identity is not completely understood in their family. Also, the father in the family is having problems with coworkers. And you see how understanding the concept of roles helps him with his coworker relationship. What are the roles there? And understanding the concept of roles helps him with his family relationships as well. So roles is one of the solutions. If you understand who you are to each other in a family or who you are to each other in the office, outside of just your responsibilities, but how the people really depend upon you as a person or see you as a person, that can actually make tons of difference in solving the family conflicts or the coworker conflicts that you might be experiencing. In family conflicts, as well as conflicts with coworkers, we can have a history with them. So there's a relationship history that we have. And because of the history and the investment that we make in maybe the business or any of those relationships, we can take some of their misbehaviors or statements and things that they make personally. That act of taking somebody else's behavior or words personally can be the thing that leads to an actual power struggle. Sometimes a person might just say something that's abrupt. It might seem like it's starting a power struggle, but it won't actually become a power struggle if you don't take it personally. If you don't decide that what was said to you is actually a personal attack. So that's another key thing that we can do. We can learn about our own calmness, how to maintain calmness, and then we also can learn how to communicate in effective ways as well. On this channel, I teach lots of skills of self-government. If you've subscribed already, you've probably heard me mention the skill disagreeing appropriately multiple times. The skill disagreeing appropriately is a vital skill for coworkers solving problems as well as family members solving problems. Even children can use the disagree appropriately skill with each other, as well as using it with their parents. And of course, husband and wife can use it together. Anyone can use the skill. It's just an adult skill, but it's a powerful skill that helps people remember to seek to understand, then to be understood. When you are disagreeing appropriately, you look at the person with a calm face, voice, and body. You say that you understand the other person's point of view. Then you share your point of view. Then you listen to what they have to say, and you say, okay, and then drop the subject. So that's 7 steps for disagreeing appropriately. This skill helps you see the value in where that other person is coming from before you expect for them to understand you and see the value of your opinion. Opinions are one of the #1 things that make a difference in a relationship. In fact, when we express our opinions, we're essentially just sharing our feelings with another person. This is a little bit deeper level communication than just pleasantries and stating the facts. But the deepest level of communication is acknowledging the needs that another person has, which means that we'll take time to listen and we'll express our needs and be able to get to a place where we really resolve what's going on. So don't allow yourself to fall back in your communication and just go to pleasantries or I don't care anymore. Instead, go, we've got a problem with opinions. We need to learn what we really need from each other and then get over the fact that we might share some differing opinions. Both family conflicts and coworker conflicts can become emotional. Both of them need skills for success. Both need to understand their roles and who they are. And we need to take personal responsibility for ourselves to solve our problems in either one of these relationships. That responsibility that we're taking as we acknowledge our role is called self-government. There is so much more I could teach you about self-government, and probably the place that we ought to begin is actually with calmness. If you can master your calmness, you probably won't fall into as many conflicts as you currently are falling into. I have a toolkit called the Calm Parenting Toolkit, and you can use it even if you're not parenting somebody. That Calm Parenting Toolkit is free right now on my website, which is teachingselfgovernment.com. Go there and get the toolkit so that you can be on the road to self-government too. I'll see you there.